Hello, my dear children. Welcome back to our English class. Well, today we are going to learn an interesting story from Unit 2 Wit and Humor. The title of the story is The Brave Potter. What's the title? The Brave Potter. Okay, now let's know something about children literature. Children have a strong love for stories that fire their imagination. Here, in this Brave Potter, which exactly does this, making the story all the more interesting, and it is basically a Telugu story and was published by Margaret Seek in English language. Actually, in this story, it has a lot of interesting turns in store for the readers. The children will find a lot of pleasure in reading The Brave Potter and find them amusing and thought provoking too. This will leave an everlasting impression in their minds. It is hoped that by reading this, the learners, especially children, will evince interest in reading some original literature in the future. Let's hope for that. Well, Margaret Seek has chosen a very well-known Indian folk tale for retelling in English. Children and adults alike are fond of folk stories, which are often amusing and sometimes instructive also. They may give some instructions also. Okay, now let us enter into the story reading. It was dark. Thick black clouds covered the evening sky. The thunder roared and the strong wind shook the branches and leaves of the trees in the forest. Pit, pat, pit, drops of rain fell. Then the lightning flashed and split the black sky with its blinding light. Soon it was raining heavily. An old tiger ran through the rain looking for shelter. He was wet and cold, and his cave was far away. While hurrying to his shelter, he saw an old hut. With a sigh of relief, the tiger crawled under the thatched roof and lay down by the door. Except for the sound of rain, it was all quiet there. Before he could nod off, however, he heard something heavy being dragged inside the hut. This was followed by the voice of a woman. The woman was telling how terrible this leak is. She complained, "How terrible! I would rather meet a tiger in the forest than have this leak in my house." All these words were listened by the tiger, and it is thinking, "A leak?" The tiger thought, "What is a leak? Why this woman is so much afraid of this leak? It must be very dangerous and strong, or the woman would not be more frightened of the leak than of me. What is this leak actually? This woman is not afraid of me and she is afraid of a leak. What is this leak actually? Am I not rightly called the king of the forest? Aren't they all afraid of me? I wondered what a leak looks like. I want to see the leak." Soon afterwards, the tired tiger fell asleep. The tiger was suddenly awakened by an angry voice shouting in his ear. He felt heavy blows hitting fall upon his head and shoulders. Somebody was beating this tiger and saying, "You horrible beast!" A voice screamed angrily, "How dare you run away? How dare you make me walk about in the middle of the night trying to find you? Be careful. One of these days I will kill you. Now, come on, go home." All of a sudden, having all these blows and scoldings, the old tiger shivered. This must be the leak who has come out of the hut. I think this is the leak. That's why this dangerous creature is not afraid of me, and it is hitting me and it is scolding me and telling, "Now go home." Okay, I would better do as he says or he will kill me. So the tiger allowed himself to be bound around the neck with a thick rope. The mysterious creature, what tiger thought, then climbed onto the tiger's back and pulled at the rope. "Hey, come on, head for the home." The tiger felt a sharp kick on his side. The tiger was terrified and he ran through the dark forest. The creature pulled hard on the rope to tell which way to go. At the same time, it scolded, cursed, and kicked the poor tiger. Soon they stopped in front of a small hut on the edge of the thick forest. The creature climbed down from the tiger's back and bounded him with an iron chair to a nearby tree. Then he went inside the hut. The tiger could not free himself from the chain. Are you thinking that who was this creature? Do you think that Leek was really a creature? Who was this creature who was able to capture such a large and dangerous tiger? Let's find out. Actually, what happened in that afternoon, do you know? On the afternoon of the day, Potter had arrived home after a hard day's work. He was tired and thirsty. He had asked his wife for some palm wine. The more he drank, the better he felt. When he had drunk all the wine, he no longer felt tired. So he had all the wine. When the storm began, the potter suddenly remembered that he had left his donkey tied under a tree. He rushed out his hut to take the animal into the stable, but he could not see his donkey there. You can imagine his anger when he discovered that the donkey was not there anymore. Why? Because he was in drunken mood. There he found only one thing, and that only one thing was its chain. My stupid donkey must have run off into the forest, he grumbled. When I catch him, I will give him a good beating. In the drunken stage, how the potter is thinking. The potter walked through the wet forest. When it became dark, he often stumbled over roots and fallen branches. He got more angry. With each step, the potter felt angrier and angrier with his donkey. Why? Because he was falling down in searching his donkey. When I catch him, I will tie him up under the tree all night, he muttered to himself. I will give big punishment to my donkey. I will tie that bloody donkey under a tree the whole night, he thought. And hours later, the potter reached the old woman's hut. There he saw an animal sleeping in front of the door. He saw something lying over there. It is already dark and he is in drunken stage. So he thought that it is his donkey. There he is, he shouted. There he is, the stupid animal. The drunken potter did not notice the difference between the donkey and a tiger in that drunken stage. He kicked and beat the sleeping tiger. He then jumped onto the frightened animal's back, rode it home, and then tied up with the iron chair. See what happened. See how foolish the people become when they are in drunk stage. They will not understand that what they will do in that stage. So next morning, the villagers who passed the potter's house looked in amazement at the tiger tied to the tree. Soon the news spread throughout the village that the potter had caught a tiger and tied it to a tree in his yard. All the villagers praised his courage. They also thanked him because the tiger had eaten many of their goats and buffaloes. They had tried to catch the tiger for many years but had failed. Of course, the potter said that he had done nothing of the sort, but nobody believed him. He said that he had only brought his donkey home. He did not understand how a donkey could change into a tiger in a night. When he saw the tiger, he fainted and fell down. And nobody, however, believed the potter's story. The villagers even praised him for being modest. So the potter became very famous. Everybody who met him called him the brave potter. He was honored with the name brave potter in that village. The simple potter himself never understood why it happened and how it happened, where it happened, when it happened. A few years later, war broke out between the potter's country and much more stronger neighbor. The king immediately gathered a large army, but he realized that it was not strong enough to save his country from the defeat. So he needed a hero to lead his army. Where could he find such a brave man? The king hurriedly called his ministers together and asked their advice. One of the ministers remembered the story of this brave potter and told about him. Your Majesty, the minister said, I know someone who can lead our army. So the king immediately sent a messenger to the potter's house. When the potter realized that he had been made general of the army, he became frightened. He was afraid. The king had ordered him to go to the palace the next day. How could he, a poor ignorant potter, become a general of the army? He had never carried a sword, nor he had ever ridden a horse. See the fate of the potter. Oh, I shall die because of that stupid donkey, groaned the potter to his wife. He has only brought us trouble, he said. The next day he went with his wife to the capital. The king was pleased to see him and ordered the potter to lead the army into the battle the next day. The enemy were not far from the gates of the city, and in the other hand, a splendid horse had been prepared for the potter and his wife. The horse which would carry him into battle was ready in the stable. That night the potter could not sleep. He was nervous and worried because he did not know how to ride a horse. If I fall off, everybody will laugh at me, he thought. So he also thought, I will get up early morning and practice riding the horse. What will he do, the poor potter? At the dawn, in the early morning, the potter woke up his wife and they went to the stable. They saw the beautiful brown horse ready for its master. Oh, how tall he is, sighed the potter. I shall never be able to climb onto his back. His wife said, My dear, put this bench beside him and use it as a step. And he did so. Even with the help of the bench, the potter had much difficulty climbing onto the horse's back. When he was finally seated, he found that the saddle was slippery. And he said to his wife, Please tie my feet to the stirrups, dear wife, said the potter. Otherwise, I shall certainly fall off. And she did. His wife found some rope and bound her husband's feet tightly to the stirrups. She then passed the rope underneath the horse and tied the two stirrups together. She also passed a length of rope around the potter's waist and tied him to the saddle. Now please tie my hands to his neck, said the potter. Meanwhile, the big brown horse was impatiently pawing his hoofs on the ground. When the potter's wife tried to pass another rope around his neck, the horse suddenly jumped free. It galloped out of the stable with the potter hanging like a sack of rice on its back. Only the ropes kept him from crashing to the ground. The poor potter held tightly to the horse's neck and prayed to all the gods to save his life. After galloping through the quiet streets, the horse crashed through the city gates and raced across the open fields. It leapt over fences and streams and began to head for the enemy's camp. He was reaching to that enemy's camp. When the potter realized where they were going, he tried harder than ever to stop the horse, but of no use. He pulled wildly on the reins, but it was no use. The horse galloped on and on. When they passed a young tree, the potter grabbed a branch of the tree, but the horse did not stop. Instead, the tree was pulled out of the ground. A sentry from the enemy camp saw the potter galloping towards the camp with a tree in one hand and his reins in other hand. On seeing that, the enemy camp sentry said that must be the general who captured a tiger with his bare hands. Now he has uprooted a tree with only one hand. Run, run, save yourselves. The famous tiger general is coming to the head of a large army to attack us. He has the strength of a giant. He has uprooted a tree with one bare hand. He is very strong. Let us run. All the soldiers were frightened. These frightened soldiers fled away. Their king, the enemy king, was left by himself in his tent. He hurriedly wrote a letter begging for peace and apologizing for attacking the country. He left this letter in the tent. Then he jumped on his horse and followed his soldiers. When the potter's brown horse reached the deserted camp, it stopped. With shaking hands, the potter untied his feet and fell to the ground. When he looked around, he was surprised to find the camp empty. He looked in the king's tent and found the letter. The puzzled potter walked back to the city with the letter in his pocket. He went to his wife and gave her the letter. and said, "Dear wife, never in my life will I ride horse again. Please take this letter to our king and tell him that the enemy has run away. And I am going to bed. I want to take rest." Immediately his wife ran towards the palace with the letter. When the king read the letter, he was full of praise for his new general. He asked the potter's wife where her husband was. She said, "My husband is tired, Your Majesty. The servants have put him to bed." She answered very respectfully, "Okay, let him rest today. Tell him to come tomorrow to receive his reward," the king said. Next morning, the potter went to the king's palace. He left the brown horse in the stable and walked to the palace with his wife like an ordinary man. And here you can understand that nobody knows that he is not able to ride even a horse. And there the street were filled with the cheering crowds to see this brave potter and the new general. They had all heard about his brave action. And they said to each other, "Look how humble he is. Any other man would ride to palace on a horse, but he is walking like an ordinary man. He is truly humble and brave man." They all thought like that. And the king rewarded the potter so well that he did not need to work again in his life. The whole country was peaceful for the rest of his life, and the potter never rode the horse again. So this is the story of a brave potter. See how lucky he was and how funny the incident happened. But those funny incidents turned as luck to him and made his life to get settled. Dear children, let's know about the author, Margaret Shriek. Margaret Shriek was a great storyteller. He was very much interested in telling folk and mythological stories of Asia. He traveled across many Asian countries and collected interesting short stories from various countries and published them in English. He translated many famous Indian folk stories into English. The present short story, The Brave Potter, is a very popular Telugu one collected by him from India. How funny the story was. Hope you enjoyed the story very well, and let's meet in our next class with another interesting story. Until then, take care. Bye bye.